Hey everybody out there in YouTube land. Just thought I'd show everybody my home, or I guess my apartment arcade. Anyway, just some stuff that I picked up over the years off of Craigslist. I've got a Centipede machine, a Super Pac-Man, Q*bert, and Joust. And I'll fire them up so you can see what they all look like on.
Hello, I turned on.
Turn off the light here and they'll all boot up. The Centipede I got off of Craigslist. It's my first arcade machine. I got it for $100. And it did work. I did have to replace the bulb in the marquee. I rebuilt the trackball because it barely worked. I recapped the screen so it's more vivid. Excuse the quality of well, it's my cell phone because it obviously isn't the best, but you can't really see it in the pictures, but it's actually very crisp and clear. There is some burn in, but that's to be expected. But it's the original monitor. It's all original. All the boards are original, and it actually works quite well. Even the coin mechanism works. Of course, it's set up on free play, so you can just hit a button and there you go. And then the trackball in these, that's a pool cue ball, and that's how they came from the factory. And that's a brand new pool cue ball, and I've got brand new bearings in there and brand new spindles, so it should last maybe another 29 years. Well, it'd be nice if it would, but let's see. And then my Super Pac-Man, it's actually all original. It has all the Super Pac-Man boards in there, but I have modified that with a 60-in-1 game board. Of course, you're seeing a lot of flicker, but that's not actually showing up. It's just the poor quality of my cell phone. But it'll play. It's got 60 games on it, and you can play all the different versions of Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man and Donkey Kong and all kinds of stuff. And I've rebuilt the joystick on this one as well. And if I want to change it back to original, the other wiring harness it's right next to it. I just added another wiring harness, and I could do that. It would only take maybe 10 minutes because I didn't want to hack it up. I want to keep it all original. So yeah, it's actually pretty slick. Oops, watch over the barrel. And that's nice too because you can jump on the left or the right. There's only one button in the joystick, but the bulk of the games I play are all one button and one joystick. So if I wanted to really modify it, it'd be nice to have 2 or maybe 3 buttons, and I could get an entire new control panel, and then keep this one original, and then just give me another connector so I can go into the wiring harness that I've installed in there. And then my favorite Q*bert. Q*berts are actually quite rare. I was very fortunate to get this Q*bert. In fact, I've been chasing this exact same Q*bert in the southeast Idaho area for 3 years. It was sold on Craigslist. It was sold again on Craigslist, and I would always just barely miss out on it. But fortunately, nobody else could figure out what it took to get it fixed. There's a circuit board on the back of this, which has I don't know, maybe 75 solder joints. It's called the filter board, and a bunch of them look terrible. So I reflowed all the solder, and it worked just fine. I did rebuild the monitor again. You can't see it in the due to my crappy cell phone, but actually it looks very, very good. And the knocker works. When I first got it, I thought that the knocker was busted, but it's not busted. Just the fact that somebody didn't have it turned on. It's a dip switch. You can turn it on or off. And what's cool about the knocker is, here, I'll show you here in a second. When something falls off, like coily, there's a knocker which hits the side of the cabinet. It's a mechanical feedback thing. It's something cool that you just don't see these days. On you can't get that with an Xbox. I mean, yeah, it might vibrate, but it's not going to knock. Or if Q*bert falls over, it does the same thing. But anyway, it's pretty cool. And I did send off for a kit. It's called a Q*bert 8-in-1 kit, where it'll play 8 different versions of Q*bert using the original hardware and just a few add-on boards. And that should be coming here in a month or two. So that's going to be really cool. And that'll play Q*bert. It'll play faster, harder, more challenging Q*bert. The Q*bert cubes, 7-Eleven Q*bert, and some other stuff. So that ought to be a lot of fun. Plus, it'll keep track of the high score, which mine currently does not do. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. I really don't want to mess with it because, like I say, it works, and I'm really fortunate that it does work. But the Super Pac-Man I got that up in from a guy up in was it Bozeman? It was somewhere up in Montana, and then I met him halfway, and I traded him a cocktail machine, which also had a 16-1 board on it, which was pretty nice. It had a brand new monitor, but you know, the weird thing about the cocktail machines is you would think that they're like the way to go, but you get sick of being, you know, hunched up over them, and I don't know, like your knees, there's no good place for your knees, and the screen is smaller. You'd think it's the way to go, but most people, you know, prefer not a cocktail. There's a few exceptions, and one of them is Joust. Now, mine is not the cocktail Joust, which is very, very desirable. Mine is just a standard Joust, but what's cool about this is I got it for $20. So it's actually in really good shape. And but when I got it, I thought it was a real basket case, and you know, nothing worked on it. But it turns out it was just 3 bad fuses. There was some wiring that was slightly, it wasn't, you know, hacked up, but some stuff was, you know, shorted out. The marquee didn't work. And there was a bad connection where I had to, you know, reseat some things. Also, the left joystick was terrible. I have since, you know, let me turn on the light here. I have since, you know, rebuilt this. This is a brand new joystick, you know, rebuild kit. It's very, very tight. The action on it works really good. The one on the right, it's got, you know, less use on it, where it's, you know, player 2, and it's a little bit looser, but it still works quite well. But the player 1 joystick was terrible. But these are the original, you know, left and right style joysticks, and this one here has been totally rebuilt. The monitor that was in this was beautiful. It worked so well that I put it in my Super Pac-Man with the 16-1, because that model monitor looked a lot better on the 16-1. And then the G07 screen that was in the Super Pac-Man, I put that in the Joust. So if you look really carefully, well, you can see it there actually pretty good. It does have the Super Pac-Man, you know, burn in. But when the lights are off and you're playing, you barely notice it. And this monitor has been recapped. Actually, they've all been, you know, recapped, except for the one in the Super Pac-Man, which just worked really, really well. I do have a recapping kit for it, but it works, so, you know, I'm not going to really mess with it. If it's a problem at some point, then that's cool. But player 1, it works just fine. Big flap. I'm not very good at Joust, but of course I'm just playing with, you know, one hand now. But yeah, it's pretty slick. I've got it set up so you get a bunch of guys too. But it's actually quite fun. It's a lot funner on, you know, 2-player. But anyway, so these are my arcade machines, and I don't know. I'm gonna have an arcade party one of these days, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So hope you enjoy.